The rain fell in a fine mist that morning, silver threads weaving through the overcast sky. The city was already alive with the sounds of tires splashing through puddles, umbrellas bumping on busy sidewalks, and the dull hum of a world waking up to another ordinary day. But for Claire, nothing felt ordinary anymore. She pulled her threadbare coat tighter around her slender frame, one arm cradling her 2-year-old daughter, Lily, against her hip. Her other hand clutched the last crumpled few dollars she had left. Enough for a coffee, maybe a small one. Maybe just enough warmth to keep her going for one more morning. Claire hadn't always lived like this. Just a year ago, she had a steady job as a dental receptionist, a modest but stable apartment, and dreams that stretched beyond the monthly bills. But when Lily's father walked out and the medical bills for her mother's cancer came piling in, everything collapsed. Her mother had passed away in the fall, and Claire found herself juggling 2 part-time jobs and eviction notices, trying to stay afloat in a world that didn't seem to notice she was drowning. The bell above the coffee shop door jingled as she entered, bringing a rush of warm air and the rich scent of roasted beans. Claire exhaled, just a little, as the familiar aroma hugged her senses. She walked slowly to the counter, trying to ignore the stares. People always stared. Her coat was too thin, her shoes too worn, and her cheeks too pale. Lily stirred in her arms, blinking sleepily. "One small drip coffee, please," she said softly, placing the coins on the counter, fingers numb from cold and humiliation. The barista, a young woman with pink streaks in her ponytail and a nose ring, hesitated, glancing at the change, then at Claire. "It's $2.15, she said gently. Claire's heart sank. She had $2.06. Before she could stammer an apology, a deep voice spoke from behind her. "I've got it. And get her something to eat, too. On me." Claire turned, startled. Behind her stood a man who looked like he'd stepped out of another world. Tall, impeccably dressed in a charcoal coat, with eyes the color of storm clouds and a kindness that shimmered through his smile. He looked nothing like the usual downtown suits. There was something serene about him, something out of place, like he wasn't just passing through the world but observing it. Thank you, but I can't," Claire began, her voice cracking. "Please," he said, waving off her protest. "Just say yes." Too exhausted to argue, Claire nodded. The man ordered 2 lattes, a croissant, and a muffin, and gestured to a booth in the corner. They sat in silence at first, steam rising from the cups between them. Lily nibbled at the muffin, her cheeks pinking up with warmth and sugar. Claire wrapped her fingers around the latte, letting it thaw the ache in her bones. "I'm Elijah," the man said. "And you look like someone who hasn't had a break in a long time." Claire's laugh was bitter. "That's putting it mildly." "Tell me your story," he said, "if you want to." Something about his tone, patient, gentle, opened a floodgate. Claire found herself talking. About the job she lost, the rent she couldn't pay, the nights she spent in shelters or curled on friends' couches. About her mom. About Lily's laugh being the only thing that kept her from giving up. Elijah listened, never interrupting. Not even when her voice shook. Not even when she cried. When she finished, he simply said, "You are incredible." Claire blinked. No one had said that to her in months. Maybe years. Over the next hour, he told her a little about himself. Not much. He'd traveled a lot, worked in nonprofits. He believed in people. He believed in second chances. "You said you used to work in a dental office?" he asked. "Yes," Claire said. "I loved it. I liked helping people, even in small ways." He nodded slowly. "There's a clinic I know. Free dental care for low-income families. They're looking for a receptionist." Her eyes widened. "Seriously? I could make a call. No promises, but you seem like someone worth betting on." Tears welled in her eyes again, but this time from something brighter than sadness. "Why are you doing this?" Elijah's smile deepened. "Because someone once did it for me." They exchanged numbers. True to his word, Elijah called the clinic that afternoon. Claire got an interview the next day, and by week's end, she had a job. A steady paycheck. A small apartment came next. Then a daycare spot for Lily. Months passed, and life began to take shape again. Every day, Claire poured coffee for herself in the kitchen of her new home and thought of that rainy morning, that warm booth, that man with the stormy eyes who had asked for nothing and given her everything. And then, one spring morning, she walked into that same coffee shop, now wearing a clean coat, with Lily skipping at her side. Ahead of her in line was a young man, counting his change, face red with embarrassment. Claire stepped forward, heart full. "I've got it," she said. "And get him something to eat, too." The barista blinked. The young man looked up, stunned. Claire smiled, the past and the present merging in her chest. "Just say yes," she said. And in that simple act, the circle of kindness continued. Because sometimes, the smallest gesture, a cup of coffee, a few kind words, can be the turning point in a life. And in a world that often forgets how to see each other, it is the acts of unseen generosity that remind us of our shared humanity. Claire never saw Elijah again, but his name lived in her gratitude, in her new life, and in every cup of coffee she paid forward. In her own quiet way, she became someone else's Elijah, and the world, in its small and powerful way, became just a little kinder. Here's the beginning of your 10,000-word story, centered on kindness and humanity, with a powerful emotional arc. Let me know if you'd like to expand this into a longer narrative or explore more of Claire's journey.